Hi, I'm Kelli Miller, and I'm so excited to have the dear Mitra Rahbar and Ellie Karimi, who are two special, wonderful people, two authors. Ellie is a trauma therapist. She is an author. She is a peace facilitator. And Mitra is also an author. She is a teacher and a guide, and both give so much wisdom. And I'm so honored today because we're going to be talking about a very important topic. We're going to be talking about how to cope with uncertainty and chaos, which is so prevalent today. So I'm just going to jump right in. And my first question for the two of you is, how does one manage if they're feeling out of control and vulnerable during this time? Whoever wants to jump in.
Um, well, I first of all, thank you, wonderful, beautiful ladies. I'm so happy to be here. What a blessing. Um, and Kelli, in her own right, is so many, many, many things, an author, a therapist, and uh, always an opener of space, creating space for others to walk in and be who they are. So, with that being said, first of all, I want to say that, you know, the past few years, and especially the past couple of years, there has been a tremendous amount of chaos and uncertainty. I mean, we wake up in the morning and boom, we're just like hit by a brick. And the constant barrage of news, of noise, of hostility on social media, on things we are seeing in our own backyard. We're seeing things in our other states, across the world. So we're trying to process and breathe through it. And in the process, we feel vulnerable, overwhelmed, saddened, grief. And I think, first of all, those are very, very normal feelings to have with so much uncertainty and chaos. So, first, I want to say that if you're having those feelings, join the club. We are most all of us having those feelings. However, I feel that there are ways that we can um, respond. There are ways that we can help ourselves. So we can go through these huge tides with more peace. Okay, we may not be able to attain complete peace or calm, but with more peace. I think one thing that really has helped me is when I get this barrage of information and I feel the world is just like going crazy, I step away from it physically first. That means I close the computer or I shut off the TV or whatever, and I'll go for a 10-minute walk. And allowing myself to physically step away from it and on my walk, not be on the cell phone or not be talking about it, I start almost like in each step, it's like a meditation, right? It's like a walking meditation. With each step I'm taking, I'm walking more away from the anxiety, from the thought process. Where if I sat at home and tried to meditate, that would be harder for me to attain because I've just been hit by this noise. So my body's feeling it also physically. So for me to let go of it on a physical level and emotional, I start with the physical. So I start the walk, I step away, and then I slowly step into my own anchoring system, which for me is connecting to my core essence, connecting through my breath, maybe doing an affirmation, one line affirmation I create for myself on my walk, like saying, I am steady, I am steady. Um, and then I keep repeating that, or it may be that I do a couple minutes of prayer, sending the prayer for the world, sending the prayer for myself. And that puts me into a space of, first of all, feeling more empowered, not feeling that this chaos and uncertainty rules me or defines me. Feeling also I am doing something, for myself and for the world through my breath, through the synergy I'm creating, and also not giving into it and flaming just creating, igniting it even more. So I step away. And then by the end of that 10-15 minutes, then I step into my own anchoring system, my own tools of breathing, of visualizing, of meditation, of more maybe writing something down. And if you can't walk, I would literally get up from my desk, create a shift of physical energy. So as you just walk, like even walking from your desk to the restroom, you
You're
are
creating that distance.
yeah, you're breaking that process of that barrage.
Thank you so much. That was so beautiful. And Ellie, what about you?
First of all, I'm really honored to be in the present with you guys. It's a pleasure. And thank you, Mitra, for creating this possibility. And thank you so much for mentioning that for every loving, caring human being, everything that you mention is a normal human response to chaos. We won't be human if we didn't respond like that. So we are here to say those are all normal humanity, but how can we manage them? How can we cope in a way that keeps us grounded, keep me grounded, and create that inner peace that we long for? I feel all human beings, regardless of our behavior, we would like that serenity, that feeling of peace. Um, but maybe it becomes more challenging every day. So, with that, I wanted to add to what you said that if you are like me and had experiences in childhood that resulted in feelings of helplessness,
Mm.
powerlessness, or feeling trapped, like I don't know what to do here, I'm stuck. What we would call developmental kind of a trauma, it may be that those feelings are more stronger or felt deeper. So I want to reaffirm with what you said that because I feel all of us, to some extent, we may have experienced some experiences in childhood that maybe they were painful or at the time really overwhelming. So with that, I wanted to invite, if we can maybe create a framework first before we go into specific tools to invite our divine friends, whoever is gonna, watch this video. In terms of, it really helps to have a framework um, before specific tools, because on one hand, we are so unique as individuals that maybe something that worked for me may not work for someone else at all. Like writing has been an essential tool in my life. But I hear so much like writing is not my thing. No, 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 I can't do that. All right. On the other hand, there is universal pain and the concept that we are all really connected. We may look different in physical, or we may have different values, but pain is pain and smile is a smile, and we can communicate with that. And something that is really important for me in that framework is that I am responsible more than anything else for my own well-being. That means physical, emotional, spiritual. Before anything else, um, I am the one responsible for that before I can be or do anything for anyone else. I remember when I first started therapy long time ago, my therapist used a simple thing like when you're on an airplane. In case of an emergency, you put your own mask first before helping someone else. And I really needed that because a lot of loving people, um, empath, feeling people get sucked into the drama and react. One of the things that I'm hoping we will bring up is that I would like to respond.
Yeah.
I don't want to react. That reaction has not helped me or anyone else. That comes usually from fear. And I feel the basic is kind of simple but profound, that loving energy connects us and fear create distance. I'm inviting you, if that makes sense, to create that framework for our perspective in life. How do I perceive life? And from my point of view, I feel I was so unconscious about the impact of my childhood experiences that took me a long time to get a glimpse of. There are things that is impacting me that I didn't even know about.
Right.
How do we bring it into our consciousness? How do we bring it into our awareness so I can say, oh, this is what's going on. That's why I'm reacting in this dysfunctional way. I know it, so why do I repeat it again? Um, and to look at that chaos as, oh, I hate this. This is so hard for me. I don't know what to do, to possibly an opportunity, as you mentioned, Mitra, opportunity for us to look at some things that when we are kind of okay and everything is going sort of smoothly, it's like, I don't want to go there. It's a beautiful day. Let's go for a walk. So that framework.
Sure. So I think you answered some of my other questions within there. And my second question was going to be, how can we have security of mind? I think we talked a lot about tools that were physical, kind of walking away from things. Are there any other mental tools that you both have, kind of how to deal, or change of attitude or something along that line?
Um, security of mind, security of thought is a very interesting, it's at a very interesting place in the world right now. Because how do you feel when outside of you is a tsunami? Because it's sometimes like a tsunami, right? It's just like these high tides. How do you feel when the earth under your feet you feel is shaking? Um, Two things I would like to maybe say. First of all, sometimes we think, oh my God, this earthquake was so bad. But then when we look, we say, oh, it was a 3.5, but I felt it so much more. And sometimes we think, oh my God, there's this going to be a horrific storm, but it's just a strong rainfall. So, first of all, is as Ellie said, we come into our perspectives with where we have been, right? If I have been, if I've had a life that has constantly challenged me and I've constantly felt the rug under my feet being taken off. So even a light rain is going to feel like a tsunami to me.
Mhm.
A light rattling is going to shake me up much more maybe than it would another person. So first of all, it's to understand that our thought and perspective may not be completely as
Mhm.
real as we think it is. We can each have the same, we can all three of us get on a flight, and you can think of a 1 hour flight as too long, and someone can think of it as too short. And so, but the truth is, a 1 hour flight is a 1 hour flight. So I think one is to understand and be open to knowing that my perspective or thought process may not be really what I'm seeing. I may be having muddied glasses. Is it because of what I've been through that I'm seeing this? Second of all, to understand that the external, as powerful that it is and affects each one of our lives, it is the internal that really creates the inner stability and security of mind and thought. If I have a external amazing life, okay, everything looks perfect, but my inner self is disconnected, is not content, it's not speaking my truth, then I'm not going to feel secure, because my inner self has those broken pieces, that I have not spent time mending. So what I think would be of value is to understand that security first comes from within.
Mhm.
My safe place is always first within me. And when I connect that I can be safe within myself, which requires a conditioning of the mind, which requires healing, which requires a perspective, then I can make better judgment of the external, of how to have security externally. And there are things that, we use when we are inside of us feeling more safe. We can make better judgment calls about our external life. Like, for example, if there's a huge riot on my street and I am feel the safety of myself within me, I can make the best choice to say, am I going to go join the riot? Am I going to be safe there? Or I don't care if I'm safe there, but I don't feel insecure being there. And that's my choice to make. So I think that unfortunately, the barrage of noise has been dictating to us that you are not secure. Anything can change your life in a moment. Anything can make you like fall down on your knees in a minute and tomorrow. But you see, that's just the nature of life.
Mhm.
That has nothing to do with really news or not. I don't know what's going to happen 5 minutes from now. The only security I can build, is how I see and feel on the inside. Am I loving myself? Am I feeling I am enough? Am I feeling that the womb of the world is a safe place, or the world is a dangerous place? And if I feel it's a dangerous place, then am I seeing all the amazing people there, which are by far a million times more than those that are not? So I think how we can build security is it's inner work.
Mhm.
And then the inner work leads us to better judgment for the external world and how we see the external world and how we also react with it, how we decide on things, and how we live our life on a daily basis.
It's so beautiful. Ellie, do you want to add to that?
Well said, well said. Um, uh, I like to add that the way we interpret any kind of external event is what may be called a trauma filter, and we may be completely unconscious of that. uh, to the person is kind of real. It's like that's how I see it. It's like wearing glasses that it's blue, and then I forget that I have those glasses on. I see it blue. That's how I see it. That's how I perceive it. That's how I would respond to it. So I really like your example of the earthquake, that someone, with the same experience, same earthquake, same place, one person gets up and it's like, I'm okay, and starts what can I do for other people? And another person can be paralyzed for life with fear of that experience. So, what is that difference? What is that resiliency? And I feel like even one person can be, that um, person that I like to be, then it gives me the possibility, the opportunity that that's possible. If one person can do it, it opens the window for me to do the same thing. And I really liked what you said about our perspective. Einstein has a quote that says, if you think you live in a friendly universe or a hostile universe, determines your path, how you respond to life events. Exactly like you said. And I think if we get away with our time together with one message, for me, it would be self-love, not ego love, not that I'm better than with someone else, comparing, but truly, truly begin to learn how to love ourselves and self-care on daily basis, to have a framework of daily practice that when I get triggered, which I do, go back to that. And then that toolbox, we need to be creative and create that. We can share here what are my tools, but ultimately we need to create that. Um, I remember, you know the Buddhist Vietnamese monk Thich Nhat Hanh. I remember in an interview with Oprah, she asked him, "But what with you when you get, really, triggered and this is going on?" And he was, so peaceful and said, "I just go back to my practice," and that is being in the moment, deep breathing, and focusing, stillness of the mind. I don't know about you, but my mind is like a monkey mind, full of personal, family, community, neighborhood, relatives, family, friends, community, and global. And sometimes it's like a, traffic jam. And really sitting in silence, even for a few moments, it takes a courage. And for someone who hasn't tried that, it's gonna be uncomfortable, maybe even a little scary. It's like, being alone with my own mind. I don't want to hear all that chattering. But even a few minutes, it's very honoring to be in the company of myself and my higher self. I find that very soothing to the soul, no matter what's going on
I think I
outside. I'm a physical body.
I think I heard two things that both of you had said, which was kind of, not only is it the self-love, but it starts with us. And then the second piece of that is sort of the commitment to doing it, kind of what you were saying, of doing that practice. So, in the interest of time, I'd love to hear from both of you, maybe a couple sentences about, because I think this is a great reframe about, hey, how chaos and uncertainty can serve us, which sounds, kind of funny, but there's that silver lining. So I'd love to hear from both of you about that.
Actually, that's one of my favorite topics. I always talk about how being in the fog, being lost, sometimes being uncertain, um, helps lead us um, to a new plateau of higher awareness, perception. Now, chaos, when you throw that word in, which is a word now, a little bit changes because chaos is by its name turbulent. So it's a turbulent fog. It's not just a fog, it's a fog that sometimes we really don't see anything and we can't make sense of the chaos. So, how could it serve us? It's like, do you remember the time of COVID? A lot of people stayed home.
Mhm.
Initially, it was so hard for them.
Yeah.
We felt like we were in a whole different kind of arena now. It was just the self with the self, or if you had family you live with. But what happened at the end of COVID was pretty amazing. A lot of people decided to relocate. A lot of people changed careers. A lot of relationships, dynamics had changed. People had let go or welcomed in. And I think it's the same of uncertainty. When you're in the fog, you don't know where you're walking to. And that being human, that we have this need for controlling the outcome is hard. So to relinquish the outcome, I always say this, we always hold on to things like this. So when you're in the fog or uncertainty, you got to do this.
Mhm.
What am I going to allow? And when you allow yourself to be vulnerable, when you allow yourself to possibly walk into a new window of thought, open a new door, have a new perspective, then you slowly go to a place you say, oh my gosh, I never noticed these beautiful flowers in these gardens. Were they there and I missed it? So then it takes you to a different place within yourself.
Mhm.
And you may be so surprised then at how you feel, how you think, and how you decide for your life. So I think the chaos is the rumbling. That's a little bit hard. You got to deeply breathe through it and out of it. So you got to let it go through the breath, not hold on to it through the breath, you know? And then the uncertainty, maybe sit with it.
Mhm.
I'm vulnerable, but we're all vulnerable. All of us are. So I'm not an exception. Most people are feeling like me. I'll say a small example. During COVID, one time I walked into a store and someone asked me, how are you doing? The cashier. So usually they would always expect the response, I'm fine. How are you? I said, actually, I'm really not doing well today. For a moment, she didn't know what to say. She said, oh, and she continued doing her thing. And then she said, you know what? I actually don't feel good today either. We're all vulnerable. Who's not vulnerable? So if we know we're all in this haze, and how can the haze take me home to myself? And it will, if you allow it. You'll walk into a place that's much richer inside of you, much more calm and much more clear.
I love that.
That was more than a couple sentences.
Okay. So Ellie, I want to hear your kind of 1 to 2, and I think you have a very special ritual, which I want to hear also.
Yes. Um, um, I love to listen to you, Mitra, talking about authenticity. Yes. How are you? Fine. How are you? And we move on. And when you're authentic, it's like, what?
Right.
What? I don't know how to deal with that. Um, I feel like when I am looking through my physical eyes, it's like, this is chaos. I hate it. I don't like it. I wish it would go away. But if we are willing to like kind of be an observer and maybe look at it from a little bit of higher level, my word is consciousness, it may be very different and really an opportunity. I heard about this African tribe that when someone in the community, in the tribe, is in trouble or broken a rule or did something really wrong, they are so grateful for that, that one person is showing the whole tribe what's not working. And they sit around a circle and put that person in the middle. And they send love and they share stories and they give affirmation to that person until that person comes to connect with his or her divinity again. And when I read that, I said, where is that tribe? I want to go there. I want to be there. I want to see how they do that. Is it possible that we can borrow that perspective and look at it from that that frame? For me, there is something personal that is a little bit difficult to articulate in words. That I think beyond my physical body, there is a universal energy, a vibration, a consciousness, an infinite energy that is powerful, is intelligent, it's conscious. And there is always that possibility of what I don't know what to do, I cannot handle, to give it to that energy. You know, in 12-step programs, there is a concept of letting go. And that letting go is letting go to whatever resonates to your soul, to your heart, to your psyche. Um, and that not being burdened by something that I don't know how to receive. That is available to us as a choice. I don't know if I was able to articulate it or not.
Yes. No, I love this so much. It's so beautiful. And even just kind of, you both have such beautiful and calm energy. It's so relaxing. So I can imagine our listeners are going to feel the same. So to close out, Ellie, I would love to hear kind of what you had in mind. And of course, Mitra, you as well.
Uh, I was in a gathering a while ago, and they used the symbol of a candle. It was a large gathering, like 70 people, and they gave one to every person and they light it. And with your permission, I like to do that if this thing works. And then we all gathered in a circle and, and wished for global peace. Um, took a moment of silence to make that intention. It's a wonderful symbol because Buddha said one candle for all of the people who say, I'm only one person, what can I do? One candle can light thousands of other candles without losing its flame.
That's true.
That's why I love candles so much and I have them around me. So I'm just would like to invite you to join me, maybe one moment of silence and send peace to all beings in our universe, all beings.
Let's do that now.
Thank you very much. It has been a pleasure and honor to be with you. We can make it happen. Together we can make it happen.
Thank you so much, Ellie, for that, and Kelly for really helping us direct the questions and hopefully bring some level of our own insight and guidance. And that candle was so beautiful. And I would just like to, for myself, close with saying that we are each that candle. We're each that light. And the candle just reminds us of our own light, right? It's a reflection of us. So let's not forget that in the days that we may go ahead, whether they're hard or easier, for us to always know that that inner light is within our own reach. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And I would like to close by a quote from Rumi. I don't have the exact words, but it says, focus on the light. And if you don't see it, Look again. Maybe you are the light.
Ooh, I love that.
Beautiful,
Love Rumi.
beautiful. Love that, Alitra.
Thank you so much.